Eyes in the back of your head. Well, not literally, obviously. It's a metaphor for being aware. Most of us, most of the time, spend our time thinking, musing, reflecting, internally processing, theorizing, strategizing, judging, evaluating, making decisions, weighing on the facts, coming up with conclusions, assessing the situation, being upset or enthralled. We are masters of mental processing and machinations. Being out here is not that. It could be in a certain circumstance, since nothing is excluded from being out here. It's not the most conducive starting place for us, though. Have you ever heard the expression frequently used with teachers and parents? They have eyes in the back of their heads. This is an attempt to explain how amazing teachers and well-aware parents have the uncanny awareness and unusual sensitivity to what's happening in the space around them. This is what we mean by being out here. Out here where life and living and the world where things are happening. I can tell you that when I'm teaching, there's not any self-talk or mental assessments, as in thinking about something. There's just being out here, being present to the circumstances and situations. We are in a dance with that occurring world, or how things seem to us. But it does not happen in such a way that one would say you made a decision about something. There's a student with their hand up and you call on them. When the infant heads toward the street, you corral them back to safety. Later on, you might say, I decided to call on Johnny. Yet that is an explanation we fabricate after the action has been taken to explain and justify our action. There is no deciding to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball or a 150-mile-an-hour tennis ball. That mental process of decision takes way too long to be useful. It is possible to be out here at any time. The benefit would be an awareness of what's going on in the world. There is a world out there, and there are things and people in it. People and objects are out here in the world. Experiment with simply being with those people and things. Be in the presence of them. Stand in front of them and simply see what there is there. Like we have never seen that thing or person before, and we're left to marvel and wonder, what is out here? What is that out here? It takes practice. After some time, you will find yourself out in the world most of the time, and you will find out much more, and you will find how much more effective you are, just like the parent, teacher, and tennis player in the midst of their games, at least when they're not involved in a private conversation. Our judgments and evaluations are based on some comparison with some past, some other thing or person we compare the object or person to. So the object or person could not possibly be the thing unto itself. Once we set aside all that and bring wonder to everything, we will be in the presence of the things and people as they are, and not through our filters. Complacency and tranquilized obviousness, Martin Heidegger, points to what we are distinguishing, whether to the claims of the everyday interpretation or to its complacency and its tranquilized obviousness. While we are here, the entire quote from Heidegger is, "People's kind of being thus demands that any attempt to get at that being constantly has the character of doing violence, whether to the claims of the everyday interpretation or to its complacency and its tranquilized obviousness." I expect the topic and almost all other topics we cover will likely have the character of doing violence. Not that I want to violate anyone, but I assert what Heidegger means is to disrupt and disturb. We have our beliefs, judgments about how life is or should be, and our habits we use in our living life. Very few of us look forward to them being challenged and disrupted. And that is exactly what I'm intending. I'm committed to leaving you in a new world, not the world you normally traffic in. Otherwise, what's the point of the conversation? The way human beings are wired does not wholeheartedly embrace this idea. Even if we are left unfulfilled and unsatisfied, we don't want to be dislodged from our complacency and tranquilized obviousness. Talking about physiological constraints. It is simple how we get to be this way. We only have a limited number of brain cells to store life data. Although our brain is massive, it is not enough to store everything that can be recorded as we go through the world. So we have to compact the data and still have it be useful enough to survive with. We do this by forming concepts which tend to be coherent. Discordant data takes up too much space. We come programmed by the discourses available in our culture and the social circles we travel in. Just being there is somewhat of a threat, as we may find out things don't jive with the world as our brains have constructed. And there is so much stuff out there. Can you imagine the power that accrues to us just being present to the what is so about the situations you're dealing with? Where there is nothing bad or wrong, it's just what is so. There's a freedom to be, to move, and to act, a freedom to play. There's nothing we are stuck with. Anything is possible, and everything is available. Others are not stuck by our prejudices towards their way of being. They are free to express themselves. Being out here where life is happening, things and people are existing, is not a way we are very often, if at all. Being out here is immensely powerful. Try it and let me know what you are discovering for yourself. Also, the community that we are in that's interested in all of this as well as I am. I'm using the expression out here as we have a follow-up conversation and experiment that illustrates that we are one of those things that is out here. Also, where we experience life is out here, not in here. Yet, this will be another violation to our commonsensical complacency and its tranquilized obviousness when we do get around to it. What does this have to do with being a leader and the effective exercise of leadership? To be able to be present to the circumstances and situations as they are, just the facts. We all distort the world around us to some degree. So we critically need the perspectives of others. One can't move anything without a powerful relationship to the world around us. The authors of Being a Leader and Effective Exercise of Leadership, an ontological and phenomenological model, Earhart and others assert that after practicing this for a few months, it will become part of you, or said another way, part of your natural self-expression. I heard the author put a post-it on his computer screen that says, "Be out here." So I did the same, as well as in my car, along with a note to enjoy the ride. Please let me and the community know what you find out. In this way, we will discover it for ourselves. It's research, after all. Thank you. See you next time. I love you. Leave a critique. Put some information down. Click the like button.